mistaken, you're about to sell some more firearms.
Yes, exactly. We were doing this deal. He thought that we were trying to take advantage of him.
What did he say?
He was ready to just basically take our lives.
So how'd you get arrested?
Just associating with the wrong people. Even though I was doing the wrong things, my arrest was actually due to somebody else's problems. And due to it, alhamdulillah, I'm here today because of it.
Now you're out in Dubai, Allah Mubarak, running 2 technology startups. One of them was valued at $5 million.
Correct.
Because no doubt people are watching this right now and they're going through some type of calamity. Maybe someone's going through jail, someone's going through divorce, financial problems, like whatever issue you're going through right now. Where was my life heading before this calamity? Could this be Allah trying to wake me up?
I had a really good job, but there was no sense of fulfillment. You know, we always thought about making Hijra. I just went. Arrived, February the 1st. By February the 2nd, I was in a board meeting, government meetings.
You're making it sound very easy, but like, what do you do and what is it about you, Allah, that allows you to just pick it up? What I'm about to say might upset a lot of you. But most of you watching this will not qualify for the opportunity that I'm about to present. And I don't say that to sound arrogant, I promise. I say this to inspire you. Over the last year, I've been working on creating one of the most influential Muslim networks in existence. I'm currently growing a network of 7 to 9 figure Muslim entrepreneurs that can support one another and help elevate each other to the next level. This is going to be something that's never been done before, and the results we've been seeing inside have been astronomical with Allah's permission. So if you fit this and you're currently a Muslim entrepreneur or investor building your empire and you're doing 7 to 9 figures per year, click the link below to learn more, inshallah ta'ala. And if not, maybe one day I can see you inside, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Righteous and Rich podcast. Today, I've got a very extraordinary entrepreneur sitting in front of me. None other than, mashallah, tabarakallah, Mr. Wadah. How are you?
Allah khalik, alhamdulillah,
okay?
wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Mashallah, tabarakallah. So number one, he's not from Somalia.
No. Very close. We're neighbors.
Very close. Often mistaken to be Somali, which is why we're saying it.
It's my pleasure. I'm honored.
Mashallah, tabarakallah. You're from Sudan.
Naam.
Recently, I've been seeing a lot of Sudanese entrepreneurs, so I'm just trying to bring that to light. Allah, Somali's been doing their thing for a minute. Allah Mubarak.
Exactly. They had the market locked for a while.
But mashallah. Akhi, you're from Hackney, bro.
I am.
Right?
Yes.
Raised in the depths of the streets of East London.
You could say, yes.
Mashallah, tabarakallah. But now you're out in Dubai, Allah Mubarak, running 2 technology startups and you're killing it, Allah Mubarak.
Trying.
One of them, 2 months ago, you mentioned to me, was valued at $5 million.
Correct.
And you just got funded for your second one, which is your property tech company, Allah Mubarak.
Correct.
How much was that?
So we've got a check for 75k. It's just an initial angel.
Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik. Okay, Jameel. What I want to identify in this discussion today is everything in between. How'd you go from Hackney to having 2 startups, technology startups in Dubai, and you're about to go Saudi, inshallah ta'ala, in a couple of days, because there's demand for you in that part of the world now.
Alhamdulillah.
Hopefully, potentially, in the city of the Prophet
Sallallahu
7 with your technology in the city of the Prophet. All right, let's start from the beginning, bro. What was it like growing up in Hackney?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And, you've done me too much in terms of, the background and everything. But alhamdulillah, yes, raised in Hackney wasn't the easiest. But we made it work. And I think when you're from these types of environments, to you it feels normal, and I always say, when I used to be in school, for example, I went to school in West London, very affluent part of London. And when I used to go to friends' homes, I never knew, just how affluent they are. Only when I look back now and I think, wait a minute, they lived they were in a different tax bracket to us. But at the time, you don't know the difference. So alhamdulillah, at the time, it wasn't, we didn't see, a huge difference in how we were brought up to others in our situation, whether it be somebody from West London or, deprived areas anywhere in London, it's all the same, So we didn't feel the difference, but looking back, subhanAllah, it was a lot to kind of take on for a young person, I think.
So you got caught up in some activity that resulted in you having your life almost possibly ending.
Correct.
But you got out of
More
it.
than once, unfortunately. But alhamdulillah, again, it's the naive nature of being young. You feel like you're Superman. You put yourself in positions where you shouldn't be putting yourself in these positions. And subhanallah, even from that age, and even the ignorance that we had at that age, I still always knew that life wasn't for me. And even in these situations, I made dua, and alhamdulillah, Allah got me out of these situations. But in the back of my head, I always knew this is not the cloth that we're cut from. Alhamdulillah, our parents were never,
Gangsters.
struggling with drug addiction and gangsters and whatever. So we had this positive thing at home, but I feel like socially you become, you either take one of two roads. And subhanallah, I look back and say, alhamdulillah, that I'm able to now look back at the road that I took, which was a negative road at the time. But the experience that I've got from it is what, is why I'm sitting here today.
So what is the experience? Because that's deep. Like when you say being on the streets and involved in that type of activity, having your life at risk, almost being killed multiple times. What does one learn from that then helps him, in entrepreneurship, for example?
Many things. I think, fundamentally, you change as a person.
Okay.
So even if I look back and I think from times where, at knife point, being, let's say, like somebody attempting to take your phone, at the time you think these things are normal because other people are going through these things, or any other things that are happening that kind of young guys get up to in these areas. At the time you think it's normal, and how you navigate them. Alhamdulillah, we're here on the other side. All of the skills that you're able to, negotiation skills, as an example. If you come across somebody that is willing to do X to you, and you manage to get yourself out of that situation, you've now embedded a skill within yourself of how to negotiate. And that could be leveraged in, on the streets or in the boardroom.
So you're saying if someone's trying to attack you on the streets, you would get out of that by negotiating a deal?
For sure. Negotiating something. Because at that time, your back is against the wall. It's either you're going to survive or you're not.
It's a particular situation, right? If I'm not mistaken, you're about to sell someone firearms.
Yes, exactly. So we were, silly. We let's say we were trying to embed ourselves within all different types of, kind of activities, illicit activities, let's say. We weren't nothing big. We were not, some gang or whatever, but we were in part of this environment. So the people we knew, we didn't know lawyers and accountants and doctors. These are just people that are doing illicit things. Yeah. So we're trying to input ourselves in these situations. And then you're faced with, people who are really in this business, who are then trying to take advantage, rob you, gunpoint, knife point, all these things. And you have to think, on the fly, fight or flight.
So tell me that particular story when that guy was I think he was in a car.
Correct.
And he was going to turn on you guys.
Yeah. Actually, obviously I'm not going to mention any names, but even his name alluded to what kind of guy he is, and he's genuinely, I think at that time, mental health wasn't the big thing it is now, but genuinely, I believe that person was mentally deranged. And he was in the car and we were doing this deal, let's call it, and it just went left instantly. He just assumed, he thought that we were trying to take advantage of him, and the tables just turned.
What did he say?
He was ready to just, basically take our lives, essentially, over nothing. It's something that was in his head. It's the shaitan that we know now. But subhanallah, at that time, we just had to negotiate, go with what he was saying and show empathy, etc., etc. And these are the skills that you allude to that we have now. That when we go into these boardrooms now, for me, it's a walk in the park because of what we had to negotiate prior. So now, utilizing these skills with a bit of tawakkul, khalas.
Since we started making content for righteous and rich entrepreneurs, I've gotten so many messages from brothers who've been inspired and want help making money online. They're hungry for financial freedom so they can seek knowledge, do hijra, and live life on their terms with Allah's permission. But here's the truth. I can't help you. I personally only work with 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs. With that said, there is one one brother that I trust more than anyone else that helps beginners start their online businesses with Allah's permission. In fact, I've sent him dozens of brothers already, and time again, he's helped them make consistent money online. Look, I have a lot to lose by putting my name behind someone I don't have full confidence in. But this brother, I vetted him and his team and his method. I trust him with Allah's permission. Which is why I'm ready to risk my 10-year plus reputation on telling you this brother, he will help you make money online, inshallah ta'ala. So if you're interested, go to the link below and you can apply for his mentorship. With that said, let's get back into the discussion. This concept of empathy in negotiation is very powerful, right? Chris Voss talks about it a lot as well. Which is, you read Chris Voss's stuff?
I have, yeah. The FBI.
Yes. In hostage negotiation.
Yeah.
Never split the difference. So he mentions that when you're in a crisis situation, you're negotiating, just empathize. And he says that empathy is not justification. Like the guy is saying something, just affirm and validate for him what he's saying. Doesn't mean you have to believe it and say it's correct. Yeah. But like if someone's like, I'm angry, trying to violate me. No, I'm not trying to violate you. We'll never violate you. Respect your thing. No, you're the big man on the block.
Exactly.
No, come on, bro, you're the big G, I'm the young G. You know, just
live to fight another day.
Live to fight another day. But what people don't realize, that's so powerful. You don't always want to be going head to head. I read this book, very interesting book by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. So there's a lot of parallels in that book between that and like what Islam teaches. And there's obviously a lot of falsehood in that book as well, which one can navigate through if he knows his deen. But one of the things that he mentions is that there was a military strategist named Little Hart, who was one of the main strategists during World War II. And he ended up authoring a book called Strategy, The Indirect Approach. And in that book, he studied 280 major battles over the last 2,000 years and concluded that out of the 280, only 6 of them won with a direct attack onto the enemy. That's 2%. 98% were won through everything other than the direct approach.
Subhanallah.
That's very powerful because you have to have humility to not go direct. But it's stupidity sometimes to just go head on.
It's ego. It's ego. You know, the thing that I think for us men, it's a very fine line between, arrogance and ego and, strategic thinking.
I don't understand it, akhi. I've been in situations where I've seen, like, for example, there was a young kid who I loved very dearly. I still love him now, but he's a grown man now. And he came to this lesson in the masjid, and he was from an area that had issue with that area. So someone heard from the lesson that he was there, and then this gang pulls up. And we're all just trying to protect the kid. We're trying to hold him back. And it's all cool, but he's just trying to march into the gang. They were going to murder him, akhi. But I don't get that. Like, where does that come from? That, because I can't relate to that level of stupidity.
You know what, you call it stupidity, but at some point, behind all of the stupidity or strategy or whatever it is, there's always something behind it. So with this, for me, I feel it's trauma. 100%. That child, has gone through trauma. And those traumatic experiences have led to what he did on that day. And my experiences led to what I did on that day.
Did you experience trauma growing up?
I wouldn't say trauma, no. For what I consider trauma, yeah, and maybe this is something where, it's probably another podcast, but in terms of trauma, I never like to look at myself as a, like a victim, let's say, because I feel like, number one, it's not helpful. Yeah, but at some point, I believe that every person has gone through some form of trauma within themselves. So for me, I could talk about the lack of a father or a father figure in the home. I had older brothers, but having a father there, completely different. Now as a father, I know this. But subhanallah, what was a huge awakening for me on this point is that when my father passed away, rahimahullah, last year, I found things out from his family, which I didn't know before, that actually there's so many things he didn't receive himself from his parents. So then I thought, how can I expect, or how did I expect to receive these things from him when he genuinely didn't even know?
A man can't give what he doesn't have.
Literally. And that gave me so much food for thought, and it made my heart just be at ease completely. So subhanallah, everything happens for a reason.
This concept of not seeing yourself as a victim, I this is going to be strong language I'm going to use, so I'm talking from emotion right now, if anything else, but I despise victim mentality and people who constantly see themselves as victims. Like, I despise them. Or, sorry, I despise being around such people.
Yeah.
Such
that
people,
energy.
Yeah, I just cannot stand it. It makes me sick to the core in the pit of my stomach. Yeah, akhi, the overwhelming majority of people suffer from that victim mindset.
100%.
Now, you growing up without your father being present in your life, were able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not a victim. Where does that come from, that shift?
I think, you know what, it's not instant, it's muscle memory, you know, having to utilize that skill, because in the beginning you do look at yourself and say, oh, you know what, you resent some things, maybe because I didn't have my dad, or maybe because X, or maybe because I didn't have the money, whatever. But at some point you need to take responsibility and say, okay, this is what happened. Whether I'm a victim or not is irrelevant for today. Now, for me to go forward, what do I need to do? And the more you learn to use that muscle, you start to realize and reflect and think, you know, this was the reason why I am where I am today. Yeah. So like, I look back at things. I remember I joined the air cadets in secondary school. Subhanallah, I was really into, like, in my mind, in my head, I really wanted to be a pilot. Okay. This was my thing. So I joined the air cadets because that was technically the free route into becoming a pilot.
Okay.
Because you'll go into the Royal Air Force. Okay. For free. Okay. They'll take you on that whole ride, and then eventually you'll become an Air Force pilot, and then eventually you can become a commercial pilot. So all paid for. Yeah. But then what happened is, being a young teenager, there was no discipline. So I joined. I spent maybe a year, you know, within it. I loved the kind of physical aspects of it, but then the discipline aspects, I wasn't interested. And it was too easy for me just to leave, which I did eventually. But when I look back, all I needed was just that kind of fence for my dad potentially to say, you know what, maybe just stick to it a few minutes, you know, a few months longer, etc., etc.
Or just to look at you and say, go. Like, it's
literally, you know, things I do to my son now, you know, it'll be jiu-jitsu, for example.
Don't want to go today, Dad.
Yeah, I don't want to. And I'm like, you know what, just go. Just go today, no problem. Just try it.
Solved.
SubhanAllah, now it's the opposite, where I'm tired, you know, I don't have the energy to take them, for example. And he's like, oh, Baba, I really want to go jiu-jitsu because they're doing sparring. Yeah. So I find myself there, you know, more than I'm anywhere else. But SubhanAllah, these are the things that we lacked. But again, we need to train ourselves and get out of that rut, because it's normal. We can go up and down like the stock market. Nothing stays up forever. Nothing stays down forever. This is important to know. But if you find yourself within that rut, it's only you can pull yourself up. Yeah, bi'idnillah, of course.
So how did you get arrested?
Wallahi, you know, just all the wrong decisions. But at the same time, I'll tell you how I got arrested. SubhanAllah, it wasn't directly my doing. Just associating with the wrong people. Even though I was doing the wrong things, my arrest was actually due to somebody else's problems. But I was just with them at the time. And SubhanAllah, this is when it shows you it was meant to happen. And due to it, alhamdulillah, I'm here today because of it. Because I feel like if it didn't happen, SubhanAllah, I could have been on, you know, further down that road and potentially, you know, deader in jail, as they say. So alhamdulillah, you know, that's what kind of put the line in the sand, and I was able to remove myself.
I cannot explain to you how many times I've heard this same story. I got arrested, and it changed my life. I came to the deen. Just today, sitting right there a few hours ago, had a podcast with Brother Yusuf, aka Pro PT. Same thing. He said, I was 15 years old. I got arrested. I was on remand. He goes, all my friends that were on that case with me, his co-defendants, some of them doing life till now. He was the only one that got off not guilty. And he's like, I was the only one from them that started praying at that time. And it's, SubhanAllah, it's just shows Allah's mercy. That the way when He sees you off the rails and you're not listening to anyone, it's like you're on a collision course, you're about to crash. What Allah Azza wa Jal does is He puts the brakes on for you. And it's happening, and I believe a lot of the times, a lot of the calamities that we're going through in life, it is that. Like Allah Azza wa Jal is trying to slow you down.
صح.
from sending yourself into destruction. And I just hope that everyone who's watching and listening will, because no doubt people are watching this right now and they're going through some type of calamity. Maybe someone's going through jail, someone's going through divorce, financial problems, like whatever issue you're going through right now. Don't play the victim.
Not at all.
Don't play the victim. Don't get so obsessed with what's going wrong. Ask yourself, where was my life heading before this calamity? Could this be Allah trying to wake me up? And what you don't realize that Allah is through His mercy will keep sending calamities away until you wake up. Until eventually what will happen is that you will turn away so much that Allah will just leave you astray. You know, when you're going through a difficult path and you're just in darkness doing evil and Allah stops sending you calamities, that's a sign
that's a real problem.
Yeah, that's a real problem. Because Allah mentioned there is going to come a calamity. It's going to come suddenly, but that one is not coming back from Allah said, from that point, I'm going to destroy them. So, alhamdulillah, you took heed.
And you know, to add to that, what you said about the brother, you know, he was, as an example, he was the only one that basically got found not guilty. I was found guilty.
Wow.
But subhanallah, you
didn't even do it. You're found guilty for something you didn't do.
Yeah, and also, but I was associated. So the association was true.
Okay.
But, subhanallah, yeah, even being found guilty, my own solicitor said to me, look, you'll probably get, I said, look, what's the worst case scenario? What am I looking at? And the case was dragging. At the time, I didn't know why. But anyway, he said, look, you'll probably get 2 years and you do half. I said, khalas. And in the UK, prison is not a deterrent.
Yeah.
You know? More so even at that time. Yeah. It's basically, I thought, okay, I know so many people in there. You go in.
Have fun.
Yeah, and not just have fun, but you know what? It's a waste of time, but fine. I can do that time and make something productive out of it. You know, meet people in your industry.
Bang
yeah?
gym.
Go gym. Yeah. Rent free. Khalas. I'll come out, 10x better. Yeah. And subhanallah, that wasn't the case. Yeah. I didn't get the custodial sentence. But what I found out is that they were waiting to arrest other people within this kind of conspiracy, let's say. And, now this is my brother. Yeah. Like, same as my blood brother. This brother that was in this case, he ended up serving 10 years. And his sentence was 18. He did half. Yeah. So subhanallah. Same case. But obviously, I need different parameters and, different involvement, but essentially the same case. And all based on no hard evidence, circumstantial.
They just wanted to put people away.
Of course.
That means they just wanted to.
But I say this to say that, when you said, okay, these things happen and everything is alhamdulillah. Because even for him, Allah needed him to be away for that time because Allahu a'lam, if he was out here, Allahu a'lam.
Same thing. I know a brother right now that's doing 35 years for a crime that he's absolutely innocent of. He actually knows the person who did the crime. In his area, people know who did the crime.
This is always the case.
But he just took it. He just took it. The guy who committed the crime was a murder. Fled. He's out. He's not even in the country no more. But I don't know who he is, so please don't come looking to me. I don't know. I'm just but although I don't think the brother should take that all.
For sure.
Right? And I don't think that should happen at all in any way, shape, form. But subhanallah, this brother, he actually completely changed his life. He came to Umrah with us and completely changed his entire life, Sheikh, yeah? And I'm like, after completely doing a 180, now he's doing charity work, he's seeking knowledge, he went to Egypt, went to Al-Madinah, he just came back for a bit, and even then he came to me just before he got arrested a couple of months, said, I want to do some charity work, and now he's doing 35 years. And even the brothers were like, I don't know what happened, why is he going through it? I said, wallahi, you don't know. Maybe he would have ended someone.
Exactly.
Maybe he would have lost
himself
Islam.
even.
Maybe he would have been killed.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I'm saying?
So Allah preserved him.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And you know what? There's a lot of work to be done within the prison system.
100%.
So maybe he's the conduit for that within the prison system. So Allahu a'lam,
I spoke to him a few months ago and I was
Allah
like,
make it easy on him.
I was like, how things? So I'm good, Wallah,
Subhanallah.
he's been in for 4 years now. It's like, I'm good brothers around me, good brothers around. Allah doesn't test the man more than he can bear.
Exactly.
He can bear it.
Exactly.
I have to wake up to it. That's the issue.
Ah.
So this trial was for 2 years.
2 years. Stretching for 2 years.
Yeah, but in this time you got married.
Alhamdulillah. You know,
So wasn't that like a bit of a mad decision, because you've got married along about it, but you could be going in 2 years.
صح. It's actually was at the tail end of the case, but you know, prior to this is when, you know, I was pursuing the marriage, found the right person, and then when the case, you know, came to a head, I thought, you know, this is, I can't be dragging this person with me. I said, listen, you do what you need to do, and khalas. And subhanallah, alhamdulillah, now she's, you know, my wife and the mother of my 3 children.
Allah.
Alhamdulillah. And but yeah, she was persistent with me, alhamdulillah. And in the end, we kind of think. But also, it was a weird situation because I was reduced to zero. You know, during this time, you know, when I was arrested, they confiscated everything, money, whatever. I had zero. The money in my wallet they took.
They make it so hard for a man to actually change his life.
Exactly.
Like, bruv, you just put a man on this, on Asbo, and this, that. You can't do anything.
I'm telling you, I didn't have enough money to go from the police station when they bailed me to my house. They literally took the money in my wallet even to that extent, which has nothing to do with the case. But anyway, I say that to say that is what I needed. I was literally khalas, starting literally from scratch. And the only way to build upon that was either you go down the wrong way and continue, or if you're going to build the right way, it's going to be the toughest because you're starting from nothing, but the most rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I was going to court in my Sainsbury's uniform. I went and got a job in Sainsbury's from 5 a.m. till 9 in the morning. From there, I would go to university. Yeah, I re-enrolled in university. So the degree I hold now wasn't from, you know, college, the traditional, you know, school, college, university. No, it was actually like it went as a mature student. Alhamdulillah, got my degree, all of these things. So within that 2 years, the main reason, apart from obviously Allah's will, is that the judge saw so much change within that time that happened that she thought, you know what, I'll give you this last chance, not a custodial sentence, and that was the main reason. So alhamdulillah, this you know, it was a rebirth, alhamdulillah, and you know, it was a struggle for sure for the first few years, even being newly married without a job. There's no security, yeah, and me being from a traditional kind of background, and what I wanted for myself in a marriage wasn't the 50-50 and all of these things.
You take care of her.
Yeah, this is my job. This is what Allah has, you know, given me as a responsibility. But how do I do this now? Applying for a job, just, you know, humbling myself to the point where, alhamdulillah, Allah, you know, gave me the opportunities that I needed, and we made it work, you know. But as you mentioned, like before, it's the same thing, not going in, you know, with ego and stupidity. It's humbling yourself in every situation, whether it's good, really good, or whether it's really bad. You have to stay humble, you know, no extremes on either side.
So, when you went to uni, your degree was in what, sorry?
Oil and gas.
Oil and gas.
Yes.
Did you use that degree in terms of your career, or like?
Somewhat. I used it to my benefit, but again, I think my degree, along with my street smarts, is what got me, where I got to in the corporate world. So my first job, as an example, I was still in university. At the end of the university, I found this job. Newly married now, a part-time job while I was at university, and I didn't meet any of the requirements. I applied anyway, got an interview, and I utilized this oil and gas degree because the job was for the BP account,
Okay.
oil and gas company.
Okay.
I just leveraged that part as much as I could and tried to just show that this kind of overshadows the kind of the limited experience
What's
that
the
I had.
job for?
It was a data analyst.
Data analyst.
Exactly.
It's because I know oil and gas and it's BP.
That's it. So in the end, I got the job, subhanallah, zero experience. By that time, I've never even used Excel. I don't know how to use anything. Yeah. What data analyst can go into a job and you know, without this knowledge? But subhanallah, that company, I was there for around 2 years, and you know, I excelled, was promoted. As soon as I finished university, now I'm able to work full time. Literally, that as soon as I got back from my honeymoon, because we did the wedding after, I came back to being promoted to a full-time role. Subhanallah. And then after this, maybe, within 2 years of being at the company, headhunted by Sony PlayStation. Worked at PlayStation. Also the same thing, street smarts and a little sprinkle of the experience. And subhanallah, just grew in the corporate world for a few more years.
So when you say street smarts, can you make this practical for me? Because someone will hear that, but they're like, but what does that mean? How do I apply that?
I'll tell you the simplest thing. Just say yes to anything. If you want something, you put yourself out there, number one, okay, whether that's sending CVs or whatever. And then once the responses start to come, that's when you have to just say yes. Because sometimes it's overwhelming. You might get a reply from something, oh, can you do this job? It's very easy to say, yeah, I don't have experience. Technically, I don't. But if you can say, actually, the project I'm working on currently shows you that I'm able to pick up, new skills and etc. This is what employers want to hear, as an example.
Do you guys want to hear something depressing? I've been searching for a halal investment opportunity with high returns for over 15 years. And other than Bitcoin, regretfully, I never found anything solid. The opportunities I found always had one of three issues. It was either haram disguised as halal, or it was super risky and volatile, or it had painfully low returns. I'm talking the type where they mentioned you make your first million when you're 50. But that all changed when I interviewed the most impressive real estate investor I've ever met, Brother Sam Amin. I interviewed him on my podcast, Righteous and Rich. And he blew my mind away with a halal real estate investment opportunity where he's helping his investors get 50% returns in 2 years. Allahumma barik. In fact, some of the most well-known students of knowledge and well-respected businessmen have invested with him and made hundreds of thousands and even millions. Allahumma barik. And get this, it's actually halal. There are no dodgy fatwas. There's no tricks. It's 100% halal. But there is a catch. There's always a catch. The catch is you have to have at least $100,000 liquid ready to invest within the next 30 days to qualify for his current development project in Dubai, where it's projected that he's going to be giving 50% returns to his investors over a 2-year period, inshallah. So if you're interested and you'd like to book a call with this team, you can do so at the link below. But just a heads up, if you don't have the $100,000 ready to deploy in 30 days, they won't take that call. With that said, let's get into the podcast. It's true, Allah. Look, it's my job to vet you when you come through the door. But don't give up before. There was a brother who we met in the masjid, outside the masjid in Barsha a year ago. And I remember he came to me and Abu Bakr and he was like, look, I'm looking for a job. I've seen you guys online. Can you help me out? So Abu Bakr took his number from then. And I was replacing my EA. And I remember Abu Bakr said to me, yo, there was that brother. Maybe it'd be good. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. So I jumped on a call with the brother and he told me, I was like, so what you been doing? He's like, I've been trying to find a job. And he's from India, by the way. So he's from India and he left to chase his dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. I was like, as a kid, when we would grow up, it was like, I want to go to New York to chase my dreams. So I'm going to come to Dubai. So
Allahumma barik.
And Allahumma barik. He's like, I walk 10 hours a day, bro. I can't drive my car. He goes, I walk from one spot to another in Dubai. I might catch the metro, but metro
it doesn't go door to door.
Not at all. He's like, I walk for 10 hours every single day. I'm just trying to get a job, just knocking. I said to him, here's the job. He's like, what's required? I said, you're going to be my executive assistant. That means you've got to handle assisting me in my responsibilities as a CEO. I told him 1, 2, he was like, I don't think I can do that. My bad. So I was like, that's not the type of thing you should say to me. Like, that's making me nervous. I'd rather you tell me, I'm an animal, I'm a savage, like I'll learn it. When you say to me, I'll learn it, I understand you don't know it. But I like that energy. Do you get me?
I'll teach you.
Yeah. Bro, I was like, we're going to train you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And the thing is, I kind of wanted to help. We wanted to help the guy. So I'm kind of like...
It wasn't just a commercial decision.
Yeah, to be honest, I was dumb for even offering it to him. Because really, I should have just looked based on merits. But there's that thing of, you get to help a brother. Do you know what I'm saying? And part of me was like, he came here for his dream of being an entrepreneur all the way from India to Dubai. I was like, let me help him. Maybe one day he'll be...
Pulling at your heartstrings.
Yeah. So He's like, no, I don't know how I can do it. And then I sent him a voice note saying, that doesn't really give man a lot of confidence. But then I was like, you know, I sent him a voice note trying to maybe make it sound even more simpler and easier because I just wanted to give him a chance. Like, he hasn't responded to me until today. And I already got a new EA. Alhamdulillah. So I'm like, bro, you missed out such an opportunity. Do you get me? So,
and this is the thing that people don't realize.
Another brother, sorry to cut you off, because another brother I got as an EA, as an interview as well. So, brother Fawaz, so if I interview the guy, he'll interview him as well because he helps train the EAs for the CEOs. He just did it as a favor for me, nothing official. I was like, you'll clock it better than me. And the brother goes to him, sure, but I'm not free from this time to this time, and I'm only free on this day to this day.
Wow, this is in the interview.
No, this is before the interview even started.
Mashallah.
Took a week to even. So then Fawaz messaged me and goes, he sounds a bit busy to be an EA. I said, yeah, scrap him. And
the EA needs an EA.
The EA. And the brother's got nothing going on for himself. Like, as in, he's a very good brother, Allah Akbar.
Subhanallah. Allahu Alam. Yeah, Allahu Alam. It's just not meant to be. And that's something, you know, Allah's protecting you.
Yeah.
You know, in the end.
But it's just, I'm just backing up your point, bro. Say yes, act. Jump through the door, act. Get something.
Listen, there's, you know, at some point, you'll be tested. Yeah? Someone's going to call your bluff.
Yeah.
So it's better to be honest, but at the same time, you know, be willing.
Yeah.
Even, yes, I'm honest. Yes, brother Imran, I haven't done this in the past. But as you said, I'm an animal. I can do this and I've done this and I've, you know, I can walk 10 miles a day and etc. etc. It shows you other skills that I might have that we can then leverage.
Because I like the fact that he can speak 10 hours a day.
To me, that's what the first thing I think, okay, he's a hard worker.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You translate it into what you need.
Yeah, that's what I was like, right, man can walk 10 hours a day. Bro,
but mentally, he needed that stamina. So,
like, even the brother Harun, you know, from our team that you spoke with, right?
Yes.
I remember he was not qualified at all for the job, right? So when I spoke with him, and I had a brother who was a head of sales and marketing at the time, and he interviewed him as well. He said to me, man, this brother needs a lot of work, you know, I don't think. He even suggested another guy to me saying, this guy's more qualified for him. So we actually hired that brother. And this one right here, Harun, I kind of jumped on a call with him and I was like, and I only found out later, like a year later, how much he was struggling at that time. The brother told me he would go for a job interview outside the city and he would walk back on the M25, walk back home on the M25 to have money to get back. It's hard, like he was struggling. Anyway, jumps on a call with me and I'm basically saying to him, keep it real with you. I don't really have anything for you. And I remember he looked at me on the call and he said, like at that point I could tell, like, man, he didn't even have words for man.
He was all in.
No, as in I could tell he was broken, like in the sense where he's like, but it was, but it was like, in his mind it was just like there was like an element of desperation, but like, I need this. He just said to me, Imran, I'll do anything. Is there anything for me?
Subhanallah.
And like, there was just so much
humility.
Not even just hunger in the way he said it. It was calm the way he said it. It wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
It was just like, is there anything? I said, come on, like. And today, that brother, Allah Mabarak,
animal.
He's leading our marketing, right?
Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik. And he's so, you can see his passion within what he does. Allahumma barik.
Allahumma barik. But sorry, we digressed. I just wanted to really just hammer in on that point, Akhi, because a lot of brothers, this gets you out of that victim mentality.
For sure.
So I hate it so much because you got guys that walking back on the M25 act, and you're telling me that the system's against you.
Yeah, exactly. There's no such thing. There's no such system. I don't believe in all of these, you know, tropes and stereotypes and putting this kind of, you know, this cloak and dagger kind of, if I can't see it, you know, this is something, just to, you know, like a funny side note, but I'll be, let's say, speaking to my wife or my daughter, and they'll be like, they, you know, when they're talking about these kind of, conspiracies or whatever, and they'll say they, and I always say, who's they? Who are they? I want to meet they. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people use this as an excuse.
Yeah, 100%.
You confront them with something, and no, but they are stopping me. They.
Even recently, one thing I've been doing, like, I've been just studying Zionism. And the reason I wanted to study Zionism is because I was like, bro, let me just know what happened. Do you get me? And studying these guys, it humanized them to me so much.
For sure.
Because I actually realized It's not some big, Illuminati.
It's not at all.
They were
Not what it's
just,
cracked up to be.
bro, they were just hardworking.
صح.
Like they were just very hardworking. Now, by the way, everyone knows my position on these guys.
نعم.
This is not a praise of them in any way, shape, or form. I don't love those
There's
guys.
nothing to praise.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just they were working while we weren't. Simple.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Do you know what I'm saying? They were just looking at what they did. I'm like, oh. It was just step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step.
You know, we said off camera.
Yeah.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go.
It's, I also looked into this. I forget the audio book I listened to, but it was regarding how, European Jews, when they went to the US and there was that migration, and they bought their bagels and, haberdashery, like, knitting and whatever.
Yeah,
These are the things that they were doing.
Yeah.
There was no, accountants and lawyers and whatever.
Yeah.
But what they did is consciously, they said, look, we're doing this now. Yeah. And some, became super successful within those industries, manufacturing and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did is, to their kids, they didn't say, oh, take the family business on. No. They said, no, you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be an accountant. You're going to be X. And push them within these fields. And then once they got into these fields, they were faced with another challenge. At that time, even having a Jewish surname, you're not getting employed in New York, in Wall Street, in these places. They changed their surnames. They did what they needed to do, whatever. But this is just to say, as you said, they just, one step at a time, number one, and just solution-based and thinking ahead, which is what we have a problem with, is thinking ahead.
Do you know how powerful this is, what you just said? Because this is exactly what they did when they came to Palestine. David Ben Gurion, who became the founding father of the Zionist state, he had one motto, and that's what he pushed to all his people as soon as they touched Palestine. One more acre, one more goat.
That's it.
One more acre, one more goat.
Subhanallah.
One more acre, one more goat. Shh. One more acre, just get to it. One more acre, one more goat. And that's how they got land. That's literally how they got the land.
They built in silence.
Do you understand? They just, And it was our people that were selling it to them.
Of course.
It was weird.
Yeah. Because we like to build in public. We're selling in public, Oh, I just sold this guy, he doesn't even realize. I sold him the goat for something it's not even worth, etc. Not realizing they're building.
And they were paying extortion.
Of course. This is how it works.
And by the way, they had the bank back home, right? To even
funding.
Supply. So
exactly.
Bro, it was a very mechanical process.
Yeah, meticulous. Yes.
So I'm saying, bro, there's no such thing as victim mentality.
La. There is not.
So look, you've made your way up the corporate ladder, Allah Barik. You've dedicated yourself, you're applying yourself, you're learning skills, picking up skills, people skills is a big thing, Allah Barik. Yeah. You now meet someone from a wealthy family here in Dubai that then flies you over to the UAE to work for their family office.
Correct.
So how does that meeting take place?
Subhanallah, it was another brother who introduced us mutually. And, it was just a brotherhood. It wasn't nothing to do with business initially.
Mm-hmm.
But then the brother, saw something, maybe even I didn't see myself. Because I didn't know what the UAE could provide to me or what I could provide to the UAE in terms of value. And we started to discuss business, politics, whatever. Got to the point where, I was traveling here quite often to come and see him, etc. And he just said, look, the only way it works in this part of the world is you have to be here physically. So at the time, subhanallah, I had really good job. All the benefits you can ask for. Kids are in school. Everything was, going well, alhamdulillah. But there was no sense of fulfillment. I was missing that, that element. So, against everyone's advice, including my wife's at the time, we always thought about making hijrah, but, you always put it off. Yeah, maybe next year, maybe this, maybe when we have this much saved, whatever. So I just ripped off the plaster and I just went. Came to the UAE and literally arrived, February the 1st. By February the 2nd, I was in a board meeting involved in this family office work, which I had zero experience in. Now you're getting into finance and P&Ls, and this is not my
mergers and acquisitions.
Literally, government meetings. I'm driving to Abu Dhabi, meeting government officials. My Arabic isn't amazing, But it's like, I'm just being thrown into the deep end in every aspect. And while it was such a shock, but at the same time, looking back, it was just so enjoyable. It was it was building me, brick by brick. Alhamdulillah. So just built that confidence up. And then, within a few months, it just becomes like anything else. It just becomes your day to day. Subhanallah.
It's been a few times, or I think almost every time you've thrown yourself into something where you actually haven't had any experience in that field.
Subhanallah.
You're making it sound very easy, but what do you do and what is it about you, Alama, that allows you to just pick it up?
You know what? I ask myself a question whenever I have these opportunities, let's say, or obstacles or whatever comes in my life. I always ask myself a question, and I think that people can do this proactively, is what is the worst that can happen? And when I say worst, it's not when, it's not superficial. I'm talking worst. Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? Will I ever starve? Yani, obviously, Allahu A'lam, but with, having a British passport, yeah, there's an opportunity for me to just go and claim, go into the job center.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the worst thing that can happen? Not much. Because there's people in Africa, Palestine, etc. That's something that they shouldn't ask themselves, because they're at that place. But me asking myself that allows me to reflect on where I am. Even when I'm at zero, yeah, I'm probably in the top 10% of the world. When I feel I'm at zero. So if people ask themselves this question, 99.9% of the time, there'll be people that are in positions where they are currently is already above 90% of the world. So when I ask myself that question, what's the worst worst thing that can happen if I just say, yeah, I can do this when I really can't? Nothing much. They'll say, okay, they realize that, okay, I'm not suitable, and they send me home. Fine. What is the worst thing that can happen? Even now, when I have these startups, I have kids. It's not the same as before. I have a wife, I have children. I say, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? Worst thing is, okay, we have to go back to the UK. I have to get a job. Same thing. Nobody's going to starve. Nobody's going to be without a roof over their head. I'm going to jump in. And this is what has allowed me to continue to jump into these endeavors.
So how long did you spend before you decided to jump ship and do your own thing?
To be honest, I always had one foot in, but I always had one foot, scoping, networking from the day I arrived.
Okay.
Because even though I was working within this family office, I consciously made the decision. I discussed with this friend of mine. He said, look, we'll give you a salary, etc. I said, I'm not interested in a salary. I'd like to basically do like project-based work and get a commission for what I do. So, alhamdulillah, since I arrived in the UAE, I've never had a job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you was a freelancer?
Yeah, I was a consultant, essentially. So I started, got my own trade license, did my own thing.
Okay.
There's no reliance. So I'm coming into that office not as an employee. I come when I need to come, and I don't come when I don't need to come.
Yep.
And that sets a tone, because I said to myself, I didn't come all this way to be an employee. Nothing wrong with it, but this is not why I came. I had an amazing job. I was working for a huge company. I was doing highway CAD designs, and another skill I didn't have prior to that job. But it was well paid, good culture, can work from home a lot of the time, and it was ticking all the boxes. So I didn't leave that comfort for me to come and be comfortable. I came to struggle and build something from scratch.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was at the time, but I knew that I needed to put myself into these positions. So alhamdulillah, that was the thing from day one. So I wasn't in that, employee mode. I was always networking, looking at new opportunities. And I always look at anywhere I walk into, I always think, what are the challenges? If I walk into this podcast studio and I say, okay, do they have a software that manages the plants or the lighting, whatever? Okay, maybe I can create one. Or, whatever it is, any problem, I think, can I build a solution?
So what got you to start thinking of problems that could be solved through technology? Because you don't have a technology background.
No.
So what made you wake up to that being the thing that you
You know what? If I'm completely honest, is I don't like to work hard. I like to work smart. And we're at a time where, alhamdulillah, I've seen pre-technology, technology, and now we're at a point where it's like, khalas, it's kind of more generative. It's literally embedded in everything. So being, somebody that experienced no technology, to me now, where the technology is, to a younger person, they might think, no, it's just normal. But to me, it's so transformative.
Yeah, big time.
That I think to myself, there's so many things, traditional businesses or traditional systems that could be brought into the digital world. This is just me as a layman, I'm a generalist.
Yeah.
So I like to look at things like this. This is where things are going. So let me get on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, by doing that, you inform yourself more and more.
Yeah.
To the point where I can walk into a technical meeting and I can hold my ground. Alhamdulillah. So this is what people need to do more of, put themselves into, be goal-based. I want to do X and then work backwards. That's it.
Because what's remarkable here is that obviously we're going to talk a bit about the actual startup, but you create the user experience, you design the UX and UI yourself.
Yes, exactly. So heavily, this is because I thought to begin with, this is the only thing where I can add value, how things look and feel. I'm a consumer myself.
But that's still a very technical skill. And you taught yourself that, Alhamdulillah?
Alhamdulillah, everything I've done is self-taught.
So you're literally developing the front end of your application. Alhamdulillah.
I like to be involved in, I was talking to someone a few days ago that even when employing people, because now we're at a point where we need to grow the team, things are increasing. So alhamdulillah, bit by bit, we need to add more people to the team. But by doing that, I also want to make sure that I've touched every part of the business, whether it's marketing, whether it's whatever, things that I personally don't enjoy, but I want to be involved in operations, technical, so that Allahu A'lam, something happens, I'm not panicking. Because I'm not one to panic anyway, but I don't want to be in a position where I have that reliance on anybody. So that's what allows me to, if we're hiring a UI UX designer, I'm going to be 110%, it's my business. I should be more dedicated than anybody that comes on board.
100%.
Nobody should be more dedicated in any aspect than you.
So how did you basically just come up with the concept of this business? Arqin.
It's my own pain points. This is what as I said, wherever I go, I think, what problems am I facing? So I saw that parking in the UAE or in the GCC in general is very fragmented. It's very modular. Every aspect is disconnected, and there's different solutions, and they don't look the same, they don't feel the same. As a user, it's confusing. So I thought, it's 2025, there must be a better way, and there wasn't, from what I saw, in big picture. And we had the vision to go into a more B2C, business to consumer side. So having a parking application, etc. And then subhanallah, as with many startups, once we actually began, we pivoted, and this is another thing where the street smarts come in, because if you're not able to pivot confidently, then it breaks.
Some people just have sunken cost fallacy. It's like, I spent so much time in this,
exactly,
I'm going to do it. Another issue is that it's not sunken cost fallacy, but they just believe that this is it, even though all the signs and signals are telling you, no, this is bad. And
that shows you it's an emotional, not a logical decision.
Exactly.
And this is where it's a big problem.
It's like, no, this is my baby.
My brother, I've had, subhanAllah, he said that, a friend of mine in the UK, he had a cosmetics brand. He had no experience in cosmetics. But alhamdulillah, he was, he came off the roads. He wanted to do something halal. He didn't even want to spend, no bad money coming in, whatever. He took a loan from his father. And he said, okay, the brother, Allahumma barik, is from Morocco. So he said, okay, what can I bring to the market? What can I do? Then somebody told him about argan oil, which is a Moroccan product. It's grown there. The best of the best is there. So he said, okay, I'll sell this. He went to Morocco to his family, sourced the product, packaged it in really nice packaging. Allahumma barik, sold it. Had no experience in none of these fields. And this is it's a female, consumer market. Long story short, became super successful.
Allah barik.
Yeah, we're talking orders for hundreds of thousands of pounds monthly.
Allah barik.
Signed with the company in the Middle East, to do distribution, doing crazy numbers.
Fantastic.
Yeah? But This was his baby. This was where the problem lay. Somebody came to him with an offer to buy the business. And this is somebody, يعني Allahumma barik, from some royal kind of descent within the Middle East. Yeah? She offered to buy the company for millions. He said, no way, this is my company. I want to leave it to my daughter, whatever. The emotional side took over. What happened? يعني subhanallah, hamanallah. He faced some challenges business-wise. Some contracts weren't signed properly, whatever. Like within 2 years, this business was basically at zero. And it just goes to show that, you cannot go into any business
emotional.
Not fully emotional. You have to, obviously, we're all emotional at some point.
Of course.
To some degree, but you cannot let that lead.
A decision making shouldn't be based on
At all.
Like even the qadi, the judge, the scholars mention that, because the hadith mentions judge shouldn't judge when he's angry, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
So the scholars said likewise, if he's happy, he shouldn't. Like in any
extreme
emotion,
exactly.
Any emotion, it just clouds your judgment, subhanAllah.
صح.
So, okay, you realize that there's an issue with parking. It's very fragmented. What was the solution?
So for us at Arkin, what we've tried to do is take things that are modular, keep them in this modular space, but house them in one place. Yeah?
Okay.
Some people will call that maybe, we're trying to build a super app. But essentially, what we're trying to do is connect businesses and consumers from door to door.
So what are these things? When you say there are modular things, what are they?
So you can look at valet parking as one. We have a solution for valet parking. You can look at self-parking, where you go into these open car parks with the gates, the barriers, etc., ANPR cameras. We have a solution for this. Residential parking.
So what does the app do?
So we have separate solutions for all of these modules.
Okay.
What we do is we go in, we see what the business requirements are. So they need data, as an example.
Okay.
They want to see what their residents are doing, etc. We build those systems.
Okay, sorry. So you're solving problems for the business.
Naam. We started, our vision was for the consumer and end user.
Okay.
Then the pivot was, now we solve it for the business.
Right. They want data. They want customer experience.
Exactly.
They want
the whole turnkey solution to manage, parking. And parking globally, but specifically in the GCC, it's a huge pain point, especially for businesses. These big towers, how do you manage? You have thousands of residents, as an example. How do you manage the parking? Some people need 2 car parking spaces. Some people need 1. Some people need none. How can you manage this? Monetize free spaces, etc., etc. So,
for example, I don't have a car. Yeah. That space is just there.
Exactly. Why can't you make money from it and your building make money from it? And this is actually a module that we're adding.
Okay.
Ways that you can basically monetize your free parking spaces. Another one is park and fly. So if you're flying to Saudi for a business trip, you can go park your car in a hotel close to the airport and then get their free shuttle bus, as an example, and not pay the 100 plus per day in the hotel.
Stuff like this in the UK.
Similar stuff.
Not exactly.
Yes. The difference is, what we try to do is not just replicate things that exist already. Yeah. We look at the local challenges faced here, number one.
And you customize it.
And customize it. And that's what, companies like, as an example, Careem, on a huge scale, is what they've done essentially. They customized Uber's experience, and in the end were bought by Uber for a few $1 billion.
So look, it's been 2 months since we met. You told me about this first. Nah. Since then till now, just seems there's been so much growth.
Alhamdulillah.
You're just getting contract after contract after contract after contract. Now, most people, when they talk about business, they understand B2C, right?
Nah.
Which is business to consumer. I'm selling argan oil. I'm selling shampoo. I'm selling perfume. It's me. I'm the business selling to the consumer. Your audience is businesses. No. You're a business selling to businesses, right? So how does one, because B2B is a massive market and most people they're just trying to get in touch with businesses via Instagram, LinkedIn, through social media. But if I'm not mistaken, you just build relationships.
No.
How do you do that? Because I was really amazed when we met in Homebreaker, Allah Barik, in Zabil. Literally, I think, again, about 2 months ago. I remember we were just sitting there and you just point to that building and say, oh, I know so that works in that building. And then oh yeah, that building, they just did a contract with us. Like you're sitting in this one place, all these buildings, oh yeah, that building right there, so-and-so's in that building.
No.
And that building. So it's like you knew these people on a personal, Allahumma barik.
Alhamdulillah.
So how'd you do that? And what's the gameplay here? Because,
You know what, it's a lot simpler than you think.
Okay.
Especially with somewhere like Dubai or the UAE as an example. You have to think of, what do they call it? Is it the butterfly effect? Or it's like we're only just, one person removed from so many people.
yes, correct, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I know that brother Imran knows this person.
Yeah.
So now me connecting with brother Imran, I'm now connected to maybe 100 brothers. And out of those 100, how many has each one? It opens you up to what?
Yes, correct.
So each of whether it's a client or whether it's a partner, they open us up. Yani, since I saw you in those 2 months, all those things, alhamdulillah, that you've mentioned, that these milestones that we're achieving, not a single one came from outreach. I haven't done any outreach in the last, I don't know, maybe 4 months.
So where's it come from?
From referrals. Subhanallah. Because somebody that we worked with, somebody we've had a positive connection with, they mention us, in the tables that they're in. Yeah. So potentially now we have this conversation, something comes up in another conversation you're in, you say, oh yeah, by the way, I know this brother, he does X. You mention me, you connect us. And the most important thing, what keeps that going, because somebody can do that and then you can fail. Because I can make you look bad. You can introduce me to somebody. I make you look bad, you're not going to make another introduction. But when I make you look good, you'll keep going. It becomes literally, it's like you're employing people without paying anything. Subhanallah. Because people are happy when people come to them and say, thank you so much for introducing me to X person. They're so nice and they're so this and they're so professional and whatever. That impacts the person. It's like it gives you, subhanallah, this is a tactic. You have to know who you're feeding. So if I know that brother Imran, okay, yeah, he likes this praise, let's call it, yeah, from a business point of view. So I know if I make him look good in his business, he'll continue to just funnel, So this is how I've been able to leverage that, alhamdulillah. And this is coming from street smarts. This is not something you learn, KPMG or, these consulting companies.
But how do you get yourself into that crowd in the first place?
I'll tell you something. You guys had an episode. I think you have to, be a king to something
like
along.
a king.
Exactly.
Yeah, be before you become.
Be before you become. That's literally it. That's the golden rule for me. If I'm going into a conversation, going into a room, I'm not coming with my hands out at all. I'm coming with value. Yeah. So it's always good to know where you're going, who you're meeting with, what they're about, what they like. Yeah, all these things have a huge impact. If I do some brief due diligence on even yourself, just by looking at your profile picture, I could see, you know what, he's on a boat. He likes the marine life. Khalas. I know something that could spark the conversation. Yeah, and that's how it starts. And then based on that, it continues.
I'm going to get a bit vulnerable with you just so you can give me some advice here, because I feel like maybe you can direct me. So, let me tell you something about myself, yeah? I'm a networker, someone might say, right?
Allahumma barik.
Not really. Not really. I'm a person who I only feel comfortable with my people. And once someone becomes my people, then I can just, mess with them all day, every day. And more often than not, I don't go to people. Not that I want them to come to me, but they come to me as a matter of fact. When they do, I can connect with them. There's a certain level up to which I feel like I can't connect to people anymore. So when you're talking about people that, so like, even when we talk about 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs, that's usually guys that are doing well, 7, 8 figures can't. But when you start hitting those big numbers, I don't know if it's that I feel intimidated. I don't think it's intimidation. I just don't know if I know how to give them value. I don't know how to present myself to them because me, like this is me. And I like being me. But then is me too rough around the edges? For those guys, I don't know. And then I see brothers that will meet people like that, and they'll be just like how I am, like unapologetically, just who they are. Allah, I'm better. They're just with these guys. I don't know if it's like a subconscious thing that I just push them away. I don't engage with them. Now I have guys like that in my circle. Alhamdulillah, there's guys like that on our network in the cave, but they came to me.
صح.
They came to me. They went out of their way to come to me. So how do you do that?
Your thing is, how do you do the outreach to those people?
Not even outreach, but even like, for example, let's just say they're here. That would be the one guy I'm not even talking to. I'm not even trying. Because I don't know what, I don't know, as in, I don't know what to say to man.
Yeah, but then you're treating him as if there's a difference. There's literally no difference. All he has is access to a better tool than I have. So if I walk into a workshop, we're doing woodwork as an example, yeah? You cut this table, I cut this table. You have I don't know what the thing is, Makita, and I have this, the fake Chinese equivalent. Your cut's cleaner, my cut. It's just because of the tool you had. Money is only a tool.
It's not even a money thing for me. I'm not looking at their money. The way I'm looking at it is that the higher up the ladder you are, the more people just want to beg it with you.
And you don't want to be one of those people.
I don't want to be one of those people. So I'm like, if I don't have value to give to you, I'm not even going to talk to you. But then I don't know what value to give to you. Do you get what I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get exactly
it's
what you're
like,
saying.
I'm sitting here. If I'm going to talk to you, I promise you, I'm not a beg. I don't care about your money. I don't care about you. Wallah, I don't care for 2 seconds. But at the same time, I know all these guys are trying to chat to you. If I'm going to talk to them, I'm going to give you value. But then at that moment, I'm like, wait, I don't even know.
What value am I giving?
Yeah.
But you know what I think that comes from?
Where?
I think that comes from you being that person. So what I mean by that is,
I've been in his situation.
Yes. And you've been begged, and I'm sure that happens every day. So
not so much now, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
It's hard to find begs in Dubai.
Yeah.
Everyone's busy and doing something.
صح, you're right. And it's the circle you're in.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. Yani Allah's preserved you now in a good circle. But that, I think, is where it's coming from. It's your own trauma.
You're right. You're right.
Because once things happen to you, you're super conscious of it in every room you're in. And you think, oh my goodness, he probably thinks.
Yeah, I'm over.
Because I know I think that.
Yeah, 100%.
But you know what? That inhibition, again, that comes from, it's muscle memory. You have to just go into every room the same as the last, and always have full trust, that you're always delivering value. Why? Because your intention is to deliver value.
Because in them situations that I will overanalyze and I'll be like, oh, you came across like a bag, you idiot.
Brother, that's, with everything in life. And that transcends to everything. Over-analysis, it's like procrastination is the killer of dreams.
So how would you do it? Like, Zarid, you just met him now, right?
Nah.
Well, this guy, Alam Barik, one time we went to some event in Sharjah, right?
Nah.
And there was like a member of the royal family that was there. And we were not invited, but one of our friends was invited. So the friend said, oh, I'm over here. So we came in with no badge, nothing. And I just felt out of place. I hate being in a place where I'm not welcome.
You're not invited. Yes,
I hate that. I believe go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. I hate those situations. This guy said, nah, bro, I'm looking to get some
opportunity.
Stuff to do. Yeah. So he just pulled up, and wallahi, he was like, I can imagine, like it even looked obnoxious the way he pulled up, and he started just talking, took over the conversation and started telling a story. And as he's telling a story, I'm thinking to myself, I beg you stop. This is so embarrassing.
You're bringing attention to us.
Yeah. And I'm taking 2-3 steps back.
Yeah.
And he said, and even they're looking at him. They're looking at him kind of like, because I'm observing the body language. They're like, who's this guy? And he's telling a story. He's trying to tell a joke. I went, Ahi, the whole thing looked like a train wreck up until the joke landed. And when it landed, he had the prince laughing and everyone laughing. But I was like,
you were there on the fence until it lands.
Yeah. I thought, I cannot explain to you how I felt.
Subhanallah.
And I was just like, Allah, but how'd you do it? And the funny thing is, I can do that.
You can.
I'll do it.
You
I'll go into a room and command the whole room. But I don't know. It's just when I'm in a situation where someone's a couple, rungs in the ladder above me. I was
going to say that, when you perceive someone to be, and I'm the same, by the way, and that is sometimes when
But you're
it's
good.
kind of-
Like I've seen you in action, Allah better. You're just
No, but you know, there's over humility where you kind of don't show enough. Because I'm the same. If I see somebody, you know, if I'm playing a sport, somebody's better than me, I like to let them shine. Because I've never been the person to try and compete. Yeah, I like things when people could see me for who I am without me having to compete. You can see the value. Yeah, but talking about that, it's I remember I was invited. So a friend of mine, he's been here all his life, and he knows a lot of these big families and whatever, and they have these majalis. Yeah, this family has a majlis every single week of the whole year, and I'm talking. This is something where they're spending at least 100,000 dirham every single week. It's on, and so he invited me to this majlis because of the app. He said, you know what, these guys might be a good connection and whatever, networking. I said, no problem. We've gone.
To me, unfortunately, I would never turn up to that.
No, but I've been invited.
I still wouldn't turn up. Almost. But I respect you for going though.
You see me, as I said, I will never say no.
Yeah, good,
to anything.
Good. Allah,
as long as it's halal, I'll try anything.
If I'm invited, I might turn up.
Whether that's food,
if I'm invited, I might turn up.
If you tell me there's a dish, no one's ever heard of it. Is it halal? I'm trying it. Doesn't matter if it's from space, from Mars, it's this fish that no one knows, whatever. I'll just give it a go. That's me. Yeah, because I want to make sure that there's no regret.
Good.
I don't go out thinking, what if I liked it? What if I did? What if
Very good.
So I went to this meeting, to this majlis. And this brother, he's seen what kind of person I am. So he kind of wants to showcase me to these people that he knows. Because he didn't, all these years, he hasn't provided them with any value. Yes, they're friends, but there's no tangible value. So he thought, I can utilize Wadah, potentially, to kind of like actually extract value from these people, let's say. So I've gone to this majlis, and this is like a few months ago. The impact that I made by just going and just being me, not here with my hands out and whatever. Now, me and this person who invited me, we don't communicate because he doesn't want to take me there again. And subhanallah, after that they said, listen, every week we want you to come.
So why does he want to take you?
Because now I've outshined the master. You know that book?
Oh yeah, don't outshine the master.
The thing is, for all these years, he's known that he has extracted nothing. So he's not a master because he didn't do anything with what he had. I came and I was able to. But when I saw he had this insecurity, I removed myself. I don't want nothing to do with these people, whatever. If you feel that way, because it's not worth it for me. For you to believe that, Wadah came and he done this and he snaked me and whatever over, it's not worth it for me. Never ever in my life, even before I was, attempting to be the Muslim that I am today. Before then, you can never find me, over money, women, any of these types of things. I will never be that guy. If I find that you're interested in something, good luck, my brother, and I'll push you towards it.
So what was it that you did that got them to be like, yo, come here every week?
I think it's an energy. Honestly speaking, it's difficult to say. It's the same when you say about Brother Zarir. There's an energy that people feel, and it transcends money. It's not about who's a billionaire, who's a sheikh. Some people are just, introverted. Some people are not as when they see something that they like and they would want it in themselves, they see it in somebody else, they're naturally drawn to it.
So I don't know why then I have this limitation in them circles. Like
it's just internal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that now because I know you externally. It's nothing. It's internal.
Even as you're saying it, and I'm thinking to myself, is it that I'm thinking that maybe I come across just rough around the edges, or if someone got to know me, they'll think, right, this guy's a bit like you see me. When we play paddle, that's me. That's who I really am.
But that's what draws people.
I
that's
know.
What has drawn the brothers. So you're overthinking, but actually not realizing that what you're overthinking about and thinking that these are the negative aspects are actually what are drawing brothers.
It's not a little bit annoying that I'm a bit.
No, because brothers are drawn to into what? Yeah, they might see you in a way in the da'wah scene. Let's say, yeah, in the ustad kind of jacket that you wear, and they think, I can't connect with him. Let's say, but then they might see you in that aspect and say, Alhamdulillah.
It's like
he's down to earth. You understand? Now I can connect more with him, etc., etc. So this is where you need to kind of remove that aspect and embrace it. Embrace the imperfection, even if it is one.
But you know, it's just when I see people in that environment, they just move so stiff, and I'm like,
Timid, yeah.
am I gonna? It's like I'm gonna break the etiquette.
So,
Do you know what I'm saying?
I feel like one thing I've kind of taken just from knowing you in this short period is that you are an overthinker, and it helps in a lot of ways. Yani, Allahumma barik in your studies, let's say, or in these types of things where you need reflection. But sometimes reflection kills.
Where have you noticed that? That's interesting. Where have you noticed that?
In a lot of things you do, you know, in gatherings, I see you kind of remove yourself, and it's like you're looking from the outside in. Yeah, Allahumma barik. And it's a beautiful thing, by the way, to be able to remove yourself while everyone is engrossed in the task or in whatever. But as I said, the limitation comes when it stops you from the execution. You understand?
How did you find last week's paddle?
It's literally the best one.
Really?
Even discussing with the cameraman, he said to me, I've never seen a sporting event like this.
That's mad because I thought it was the worst.
No. And I know why you think it's the worst.
Why?
Because the lack of...
Organisation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, that's the best part about it.
Really?
My whole day is organised, in a sense. Yani. What I love about it is the disorganisation. I'm not going there to be the next paddle champion, Nadal or whatever, yeah? That's not why I'm there. Yeah. You understand? But all the other things, it's been ticked. It's been ticked before I even hold that racket. The brothers I met, the quality of brothers, yeah, the ability to just, you know, let loose. I don't have this in my day-to-day. I'm always wound tight because I'm going from call to meeting to flight to this to that to family to... And it's like, alhamdulillah, we can just play paddle, or we can just do what... You could have done any sport there. You can play patball, you know? And I would have enjoyed it. And the brothers the same. This is the energy that, you know, Allahumma barik. Some of the brothers I saw as well were naturally, as it Asad, I believe. Asad,
yeah.
I can see that he himself, he's not the most extroverted brother. Yeah. From my own thing. But the energy he felt there, and he was, you know, asking questions and this and engaging and Allahumma barik. That's a brother that would have benefited from it.
You know him, I met him. So he's come 2 weeks in a row. The first week he came, I just met him a few hours before that.
No way.
Yeah.
Allahumma barik.
He just said, I can just move there, I just done Hijra. I don't know one. So I'm about to play paddle in a couple hours if you want to come.
No way.
He said, oh, okay, cool. Today is a crazy day on crypto. Let me de-risk some coins. I'm there.
Allahumma barik. Look at that.
It
looks like you guys have known each other for ages.
That's the second time I met him.
Subhanallah. But this is your ability, brother. You don't let anything get in the way. Wallahi. Because this is actually how you've got to where you've got to. Don't overthink it now.
Yeah. No, I feel like I will just be me if it's... I just don't want to feel like a beck. That's my thing. I just don't want to feel like a beck.
No. You can never. Because you know why?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, where does that even come from?
But like I said, this is from your own experiences.
Yeah, I'm just trying to deep it now.
This is the only way, because this is how things are. Whether it's to do with marriage, women, business, any of these things, as soon as you go through an experience, it, of course, you know, mars the next experience. So, subhanallah.
It's been a very enlightening conversation.
Allahumma barik.
I can give him a therapy.
For both of us, yeah. But you know what? That's how every conversation should be. Yeah. You know, subhanallah, I'll tell you one thing about the corporate life. My last job in the UK, my manager, still very good friends with him till today. May Allah guide him.
Ameen, ya Rab.
He travelled to Dubai to come and see me, yeah? This is like, I think, a year or two in of me khalas leaving. He travelled for a few days, came and saw me, and he said to me on the last night, we had dinner, he said, what can we do to get you back? I said to him, I've already khalas gone, because the way I left, there was no issue, there was no reason. I just abruptly said, you know, I'm out. And they don't understand that in the West, because when you have the job, you have the benefits and whatever, khalas, you know, khalas, go get your mortgage, whatever. I'm not interested in that. I was missing something. So anyway, we were speaking. He said to me, you know, like the interview, your job interview. He said, till now is the best interview I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
I said, why? Because to me, I didn't do anything. If anything, I was ill prepared. But he said, why? It was a conversation. And that's one thing I always tell younger brothers. Don't ever go into any situation in the corporate world as if it's an interrogation, which is what usually happens, especially brothers that have been on the roads. because that's what they're used to. They're used to every conversation outside of their own circles, people that look like them. Anyone that doesn't look like them, it's a police conversation or law or whatever. So it's a negative thing where they're always shut down, they're nervous, so they associate that with every other. And I'm talking even grown men that have been on the roads their whole life. They wouldn't last 5 minutes in a boardroom. The pressure in a boardroom is nothing compared to, gunpoint, this and drugs and whatever and jail and all of this. You've seen everything. A boardroom is a joke, but they would start panicking. And I've seen it myself. I've tried to put brothers in these situations and they're literally physically sweating.
Oof.
And I'm thinking, what you've done on the roads, you were like the guy. And now you're sweating in this position. It's just the fear of the unknown. So people that don't look like them, they look at them as above or better and whatever. But if we're able to go into these rooms, job interviews, whatever it is, I tell people, if I get an interview for a job, that's my job to lose. Meaning, khalas, the energy I have is, this is already my job. I just need to do something stupid to lose it. That's the only thing. But khalas, I've already got it.
Very nice.
Because I'm going in there having a conversation. If they ask you,
that's my deal to lose.
Exactly, 100%.
That's my wife to lose.
There you go. Subhanallah. And you know what? Now that you've said it, makes it concrete. I only thought of it in work, but it's literally that.
That's my link to lose.
Done.
That's my game to lose.
That's it. There you go.
Accountability.
That's
Extreme ownership.
Yeah. There's no victim behavior. There's none of this nonsense to cloud your judgment. It's, I'm already there. The goal is, I'm already at the goal. I've already made it. Now I'm just working backwards. It's just the tedious steps to get there.
Wow.
Subhanallah. And this is the way. And this is where the tawakkul and everything comes in. If you have that genuinely and you believe, like the dua of Prophet Musa alayhi salam when, inna, I don't want to misquote it. You know the dua I'm talking about.
Surah Al-Qasas.
Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. That dua, Allahumma barik. But if you don't believe it, when I say that dua, I picture that dua. The tafsir and whatever. I literally picture what he was doing and I picture it, so I believe it. And that dua, I'll tell you another quick story. When I came, as I said, I never had a salary. I had these project-based jobs and whatever. There were times when it was very tricky.
In Dubai.
Very tricky. And I came with a family. Yeah, jahiz. Not as a single studio and it's cheap and I can get a room for 500 dirham. No. I came with a family with responsibilities. Kids that were in school, established. So there's a certain level of life that they need to kind of live by. As much as possible, of course. Anyway, there was a point, so I'm doing consulting, whatever, and I'm using Stripe. Yeah? And one day, they just blocked my Stripe account. And I'm not a technical guy. I have never gone through these kind of things. I said to myself, okay, let me try and send an email. Oh, no, you don't read the terms and conditions, but the terms and conditions are, they basically own that account. Whatever money comes, that's theirs. If they just feel like you're doing something that they don't like, they can technically, legally, they can do it.
Yeah.
Now I start to panic because this is all I have. All my money is going into this account. And I just extract what I need every now and again. Anyway, it was a large amount. And now I'm starting to think, subhanAllah. But I'm not a panicker. This is crazy, whatever. Months go by. And the thing is, they're not, they didn't delete the account. That would have been better.
Yeah.
They allow me to log in. I log in. I see my funds. I just can't reach it.
Yeah.
I'm emailing up to the point where actually they just ignored me. Literally. I get the generic automated email and no response for months. Months and months. When I tell you, subhanallah, it was over a year went by. Khalas, I managed to do what I needed to do, pay the bills, whatever. But over a year went by. These funds are still just sitting there. Then I was talking to my brother, my older brother. And we were discussing and he said, recently I've been using this dua. Yeah. And he said, it's been working. It's powerful. I said, yeah, okay. We're discussing, Come off the phone. I went and learnt the dua. Started utilizing it. Then I started using it in every prayer. Fard, sunnah. I'm doing this dua like 100 times a day. Putting in the reps. Yeah. But I genuinely believed. And I didn't even have this stripe thing in my head. I'm just putting it in as in like, I want to prosper, generally speaking. Subhanallah, when I tell you, one day I'm on LinkedIn and I thought, oh, let me just see Stripe on LinkedIn. I typed in Stripe. Then I went to people, saw the people, director of this, saw this lady who was like the director of something, like some big position based in Ireland or something. Sent her a message, big long paragraph, all of these things, how it's affecting me emotionally, Literally within 3 days, the funds were in my account. Over a year with nothing, bro.
She responded to you?
She responded. She said, oh, I'm really sorry to hear. So, yeah, and just, nothing, because obviously it's new to her. I'm really sorry to hear, Let me see what I can do. That's it.
Wow.
Someone else that's based in
Allah.
UAE contacted me. Oh, hi, we heard, Like, where were these people all this time? Literally within 3 days of contacting her, those funds were in my account.
See, someone could look at that story and go, so right, all you had to do was just message people. People just don't put in enough work and effort, but it's not
They
that.
associate it to themselves.
Yeah, but it's
and the
not
messages,
that.
it's not that.
It's the dua.
Oh my goodness.
The dua guided you to that action in the first
100%.
place.
Why didn't I think of that I was utilizing you?
And why that woman? Maybe why
Allahu
that
A'lam.
one out of
Everything
thousands of
is
employees?
why. But if you if you associate it with Allah, you don't need to ask no more questions. It's done.
Wow.
Yeah, it came from nowhere.
Just to give people the context of that dua, just so they can understand, that was Musa alayhi salam escaping from capture in Egypt, and he ran and he escaped by foot across the Sinai desert, and he came into the Arabian Peninsula, and Fir'aun wanted to execute him, and he just arrived and landed in a place that is just imagine it, just non-stop running, going through the desert across the Sinai, bro. And then he comes, sits down by a tree, and he just makes that dua. And then what happens immediately after that?
Good that.
A girl comes walking saying, my dad wants to speak to you. And then the dad marries him off and gives him a job.
Exactly. All of these things were answered.
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
He made the dua. Woman comes, said, my dad wants to speak with you.
Subhanallah.
Dad said, I'm going to marry to my daughter and I'm going to give you a job.
Exactly. To go with it.
Allah. Actually, it was, I'm going to give you a job and marry you to my daughter.
But you see, it's the association and the belief, truly.
Now, you don't even understand how deep this is, because I've forgotten this dua for a while.
My goodness.
The fact that I'm in a place in my life right now, well, I need to make this dua.
And the thing is, so many times it's so easy to make all the du'as when it's time to struggle. But what happens after the struggle? This is and this is something I heard you say on one of your videos. It's so easy when we make the dua and when you're in the calamity. But what about when it's not, when it's the good time? Don't forget it then. And this is what's allowed me, alhamdulillah. And then now, the more things that come, the more I associate with Allah. So it's a self-fulfilling, it's a circle. It's just feedback loop. I associate with Allah and Allah gives me more.
Allahu Akbar.
Alhamdulillah.
Barakallah fi, man. It's been a very, very wholesome conversation.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. It's been a long time coming, but
we have so much more to discuss, but we can go on forever.
I'm just thinking we absolutely can. Wallahi. It's just Maghrib's coming in.
La, for sure.
But otherwise, we would have definitely, man. And I actually wanted to invite you to join us on some of the Chamabai conversations as a panel.
Inshallah. I'll bring some baked goods.
Yeah, please do. I spoke with the team.
For the brothers, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you'll be a very good addition, man.
I'd love to.
For the conversations, inshallah.
Man. Anything to help the ummah and brothers, in general. And this is something that we haven't discussed, in terms of what I also want to offer. I want people, like my target is people who may feel like, it's maybe past the time where they can take these risks in business, in entrepreneurship. I want to help these people, potentially jump into the startup game.
Because if you don't mind sharing your age?
I'm 38. Turning 38 in the end of August.
And you started a year ago?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, a year ago.
37.
Yes. With wife, 3 kids.
Allah barik.
Yeah. And I had every excuse to give. Yeah. Not to do what I'm doing now. But I know the challenges, and alhamdulillah, I made so many of the mistakes so that I can potentially now help the brothers who are parents, who are, in that 9 to 5, but they still have something, everybody has an idea. Everybody has a vision. So inshallah, if I can be of assistance in that way, that's what I'm developing, this type of kind of program, to help brothers in this field. So inshallah, this is something that I definitely want to do as much as possible, because I know there's so many ideas, there's so many solutions we can bring to the market as an ummah. So if I can help in that way, bi'idhnillah, let's do it.
Yeah, Allah bless you, akhi.
With your support, inshallah.
We support each other, and Allah Azza wa Jalla supports us from above, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Barakallah fi akhi, man. Inshallah, I'm going to put your LinkedIn. You're only on LinkedIn or other stuff as well?
Social-wise, for now, only on LinkedIn.
We'll put your LinkedIn, inshallah ta'ala, the link below.
But inshallah, I'll put a link to the website, inshallah.
Most def. Anyone who is involved in the parking space.
Naam. And anyone that wants to even do a startup, and they're struggling, any brothers in that field, I'm here to help, bi'idhnillah.
Barakallah fi. Guys, with that said, man, I got to love you and leave you. And so does our brother Wadah. May Allah bless you in this life and the next.
My brother.
And ameen wal muslimin. Guys, we'll see you next week for another episode. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.